Welcome back, guys, to Football Dynasties. I'm your host, Dell. Start and sit week 6. We've got an injury report. We got a lot to get into, a lot of RB injuries. Let's get going. All right, guys, let's start off with the injuries. A lot of injuries thus far, and it seems like the running backs are taking the hits. They just keep on coming. Singletary is now out, so Tyron Tracy, he's going to be a full go against the Bengals. He's actually one of our starts, so get him in your lineups. Brian Robinson is now out. Austin Eckler, make sure you're putting him in for sure. Chargers, the Gus Bus is out, and now he is on IR. So if you can get your hands on Kamani Vidal or Haskins, go ahead and do it. You're going to need that backup. James Cook, as of right now, the toe injury is what they're saying. But they're saying he plans on playing. So it's might end up being a game time decision. So make sure you got your backups ready there. Ty Johnson, Ray Davis. Jaylen Warren is also going to start to be active. So some good news for the running backs. So just keep your eye on him. We don't expect him to get much work. But if you have Jaylen Warren, I would not start him. I would just wait and see. The next RB out is Ramondre Stevenson. He is out as well. So Antonio Gibson, give him a full go for sure. Rachaad White, he's listed as questionable. But I think last night we saw, and let me pull it up, he is now downgraded to doubtful, which means he's probably not going to play. So if you've got Bucky, give Bucky the full start. They do play the Saints, so nice little rivalry game there, but I expect Bucky to have a stellar game for sure. So if you got him, get him in. That is it for our injury report. Now let's get to our sits, and let's get started with the quarterbacks. All right, quarterback sits this week. Pains me to say it. Justin Herbert, he's a no-go against Denver. Denver's only allowing about 12.5 points to the quarterback this season. That defense with Pat Surtain has been dominant, and I don't expect my man Herbert to do a whole lot. So if you got him, sit him down. And kind of going with the same game, Bo Nix against the Chargers. This is going to be a game that's going to be pretty much all defense all day. I'm not putting Bo Nix either. I think both of these quarterbacks are going to struggle. It'll definitely be a low-scoring game. So Bo Nix, that's another sit for me. The next three, it was difficult to get quarterback sits this week because a lot of the matchups we like. So telling you to sit Drake May against Houston, rookie's first start. We saw how the Texans made Josh Allen look last week. I don't expect Drake May to do any better, so I'm not starting him. The next sit's going to be Spencer Rattler versus Tampa Bay. Again, rivalry game, rookie start. Unless you absolutely have to, I'm not getting him in there. Aiden O'Connell, first game, he played okay, but he doesn't have Devontae. We're expecting Pittsburgh to lock that down, and hopefully they're going to probably make them run the ball a lot more. So that is my sit. My fifth sit right there would be Aiden O'Connell. And now let's get to the good stuff. The starts of the week. My number one start of the week is going to be Caleb Williams in London against the Jaguars. Pretty much whatever stat you look up, the Jaguars are dead last. They give up yards for the pass game, the running game. I mean, yeah, they rank 32nd in yards allowed per game, yards allowed to the quarterback, number 1 in fantasy for points allowed to the quarterback. So I expect Caleb Williams to keep it running, and he's going to keep on rolling. Our second start, believe it or not, we're going to go with Jaden Daniels at Baltimore. Why? The Baltimore Ravens are giving up 21.5 points to the quarterback. And that shootout that we just saw against Cincinnati, now I'm not going to say Jayden Daniels is as good as Joe Burrow, but we can make the arguments that this year they're on par. So Jayden Daniels, full go against Baltimore. Another sneaky one. I thought it was a little bit of a sneak just because he hasn't been playing. He's thrown a lot of interceptions. But at number 3, we're going to throw in Jordan Love. He is throwing the interceptions, but he's making up for it with throwing the ball a lot. And against the Cardinals, who rank 8th in fantasy points allowed to the QB, they allow about 19.5. Jordan Love's going to be your next start. And of course, couldn't leave this man off the list this week. Kirk Cousins at Carolina. We saw what happened last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago now, and we expect him to just keep on rolling. Big game for Kirk Cousins coming up. And my last must quarterback start of the week is going to be Dak Prescott versus the Lions. I think it's going to be a game where Dak they're going to force them to throw a lot. The Lions defense is no joke, but I think Dak, after beating Pittsburgh the way he did, I think he's going to come in with some swag and he's going to show up. And CD had a quiet game. I think CD's ready to go. Turpin coming on the scene. Dowdle coming on the scene. I know the Lions defense is good, but I expect the Dallas Cowboys to win that game. And behind a big game from Dak Prescott. Chad, that's for you, buddy. Let's move on to our wide receivers. All right, my number 1 start for wide receivers this week is going to be DJ Moore playing the Jaguars. Again, everything we said with Caleb, the Jaguars give points away to everyone. So DJ Moore is a must start this week. Our second must start this week is going to be Stephon Diggs against the Patriots on the road in New England. No Nico Collins. We lost Nico to the IR. It's a shame because that dude has been balling. But if anything, Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell are going to benefit from that. And I think Stephon Diggs will be the best player put in line for that. At number 3, we're going to go with Amari Cooper against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, believe it or not, the Philadelphia Eagles against wide receivers this season have been giving up quite a bit. Okay? They're second in the league in points given up to wide receivers. So, the Browns offense is no bueno. But Amari's going to have a good game. Okay? He has to. It might be Jameis Winston who's throwing him the ball by the end of it. But either way, Amari Cooper must start. My 4th must start of the week. And yeah, I'm a little biased because he is my franchise. We're going with Marvin Harrison against the Packers. It feels like a Marvin Harrison game. They have been going to him. The targeting, they kind of like that week 1 mess that we remember. Games 2 and 3, he got it rolling. Last few games, he's been a little quiet. So now I think our boy Marvin is due. The Packers give up 31 points to the wide receivers. So I expect Marvin to eat this weekend. So let's get it. And my last must start of the week. Again, we had Jayden Daniels in our must starts this week. And why not? Old Scary Terry right there at 5th must start. They're just going to have a big game. It's probably not going to be 41-38, but I see something in the realm of like 31-28, 34-28, something like that. I don't know who's going to win. I'm going to wait till I do my matchups of the weekend tomorrow, and it'll be on X posted. But yeah, we're going to go with Scary Terry right there at the 5th. Let's move on to our sits for the week. It's kind of difficult to figure out what kind of wide receivers I wanted to sit this weekend. I went through, we looked at the matchups. My number 1 sit of the weekend is going to be Deontay Johnson. He's playing the Falcons. I know Mike Evans kind of went off on the Falcons, but I think the Falcons are going to stop that wide receiver duo there between Deontay and Xavier Legette. So we're sitting Deontay this week. My next sit, and this is a guy we didn't touch on injury report, but Michael Pittman, he's getting back spasms. He was week to week, day to day, and then IR, and then no, wait, he's playing. Kind of like a little Nico Collins thing going there. But I'm not starting Michael Pittman this week because even if he does go out there, he's probably going to be limited. So if anything for the Colts, Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, I would probably start Downs in that scenario for sure. And my third sit, Jameson Williams against the Cowboys. I just think that it's going to be a St. Brown Laporta game, and I think Jameson Williams is going to get shut down in this one. Our last sit, so Khalil Shakir against the Jets. He has been injured the last couple of weeks. Even if he does play, I think he's going to be limited. Most reports are saying that he will be limited. He was limited in practice all week, but they're expecting him to suit up. So we'll see what goes on there as the week kind of progresses there. And my last sit of the week is going to be Mike Evans at the Saints. And the reason for that, he just doesn't have great games against the Saints all the time. He has had some stellar games against the Saints in the past, yes. But Lattimore just gets into this dude's head, and it's just been crazy. And I just don't like that matchup. Big game for both teams. You know, the emotions are going to be high for sure. So Mike Evans, we're going to sit him down. All right, guys, running backs. 5 must-start running backs of the week. At number 1, Breece Hall versus the Bills. If you are a Breece Hall owner in fantasy, as am I, do not give up on this dude. He's still leading the backfield, 70 to 30% of snaps. The Bills give up the most run yards on defense, and this is it. New coach for the Jets, new offensive play calling for the Jets. Look for Breece to be involved early and often, especially with Rodgers a little wobbled. Maybe quick passes to him, get the ball out and going. Breece Hall, he's going to have the big game this week. Number 2 start is going to be Josh Jacobs against the Cardinals. Jordan Mason killed him, last week, and I expect Josh Jacobs to do the same. At number 3, we're going to go Tony Pollard versus the Colts. Now, the Colts are up there in points. They give up right around 24 to the running back, and this just feels like a Tony Pollard game. They're going to run the ball a lot more this week, and I think the Titans are actually going to sneak away with the win against the Colts this week. My must start, and this one's going to be a little controversial, but Najee Harris versus the Raiders. The Steelers have nothing. Jaylen Warren is still coming back off that injury. He's going to be limited. So Najee's going to be a number 1. I think Pittsburgh's going to try to get back and do what they did the first few weeks when they were winning games, and that is run the football. And I think they're going to focus on that a lot this week. So look for Najee Harris to have a big game. My last must start. So it's funny, before I started recording, I got the news that Singletary was out. So in 5, I actually had Singletary / Tracy versus the Bengals. And yeah, so Tracy, just get him in there. The Bengals give up a lot of yards to the running backs as well. So Tyron Tracy, last week, 122 yards rushing. Expect them to do more of the same. The Giants play a lot better when they run the ball. So look for that to happen. No Malik Neighbors. So G-Men, let's get that ball running. All right, our sits for the week. So opposite side of the field between that Raiders-Steelers game, Madison and Zamir White against the Steelers. No chance I'm starting either one of those guys. None of them have shown us that they can do a whole lot. I know that Dowdle had that big game against Pittsburgh on Sunday night where he ran all over him. But the Raiders' offensive line is not as strong as the Cowboys' offensive line. So this week we're not going to start neither Madison nor White against the Steelers. My second sit of the week, Javonte Williams versus the Chargers. The Chargers give up nothing, man, on the run. But, they're only giving up about 14 points to the running backs. So that's split into two. You're talking about maybe each running back averaging 7.5 points. So Javonte Williams, he's going to have a tough day. Jesse Minter and my Chargers D have been putting in the work this season. We look good. Can we just throw over 200 yards, please? Maybe, possibly. My third sit of the week, and I've seen a lot of other people saying that they're going to start this man, but I'm going to sit Chuba Hubbard versus the Falcons this week. I just think that the Falcons are going to finally get that defense rolling this week. It just looks like one of those games, feels like one of those games. The next running back sit is going to be James Conner at Green Bay. I don't think that the Cardinals are going to be successful running the ball against the pack. I think Kyler Murray is going to be throwing it 35 plus times. So James Conner this week against Green Bay, he's a no-go. And that comes up to my last running back sit of the week, and that's Rico Dowdle against the Lions. We touched on it earlier. I think the Cowboys are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be behind the run game. I think it's going to be behind a Dak Prescott-led offense. Now, Dowdle may sneak in, and he could possibly get 10, 11 points. But it could be also the opposite, where it's been like how it was the first 5 weeks where the running backs weren't doing anything. So until I see it, Dowdle against the Lions, he's a no-go. All right, we got one more. We got our tight ends. This week we just decided to do a ball, right? Our startings and sits have been pretty short, but this week we're going long. So we'll get through this list quickly, just so that we're not holding you guys up for too long. So our tight end starts of the week. My number one is going to be Zach Ertz against Baltimore. Yep. The Baltimore Ravens give up a lot of points to the tight ends. And they give up about 12.5. And Zach Ertz, believe it or not, had 9 targets last week. And I expect that to keep going. So Zach Ertz, he's going to be our start at Baltimore. Our second must start is going to be Kyle Pitts against the Panthers. Panthers are also giving up 12 points to the tight ends. Kyle Pitts is coming off his best game so far this season. So let's look for him to keep it rolling. At number 3, Trey McBride at Green Bay. Again, this kind of touches on why I'm not starting James Conner. I think it's going to be a big passing game. And the Packers give up right around 11 points to the tight end. And Trey McBride behind Kyler Murray, they're going to be doing a lot of work over the air this week. My number 4 must start is going to be Cade Otton at New Orleans. Again, touching on that Mike Evans, I'm sitting Mike Evans. So I think it's going to be a Bucky, Cade Otton type of game. Godwin in the slot, I think, is going to eat. So we're going with Cade Otton. My last must start of the week, and I think he is a must start for everyone if you have him and he is in your lineup, and that is Brock Bowers against Pittsburgh. I don't think the Raiders are going to do much of anything this week, but if anything, our boy Brock Bowers, he's going to eat, and he's going to continue to keep on rolling. Number 2 tight end in the league, just behind Kittle. Kittle just had a huge game. So if Bowers wants to keep up with him, he's going to need a big game himself. Our tight end sits. My first sit of the week is going to be Hunter Henry versus Houston. Again, we saw Josh Allen, Kincaid, they didn't do anything against Houston. I don't expect Drake May, the rookie, to do anything of much. So Hunter Henry, he's getting the sit. The second sit of the week is going to be Mark Andrews against the Commanders. And the reason why is because the Commanders, they only give up a total of 4.5 points to the tight ends throughout this season thus far. Mark Andrews has been struggling in the offensive game this year. Great blocker, great football player still. He's just not getting those targets. He's had a few drops already. So against the Commanders, who pretty much shut down the tight end position, I'd probably start either Likely on this one but Andrews is a no-go for me this week. The third sit, Evan Ingram, he just got back from injury. They're going to London. That Bears defense is awesome. Evan Ingram, we're going to probably wait one more week just to see how he goes. Our fourth sit, Juwan Johnson against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is ranked 29th in points against the tight end. Again, Juwan Johnson, we're going to sit him down. Tampa's been shutting down the tight end all year. Has to have a lot of teams though, but oh well. Got to figure out a way to make a list somehow. And if you made it this far with me, I appreciate it. And our last tight end sit for the week, Dallas Goedert against the Browns. A.J. Brown is back. Devontae Smith is back. Saquon in the backfield. I think Jalen Hurts is just going to be looking to feed those guys, get them going. So again, my last start of the week, Dallas Goedert. Guys, thank you for listening. Like and follow. Share these videos with your friends. Any comments down below, any feedback, any questions you might have, put it down there. If not, I will see you guys on our weekly review, or our waiver wire report actually, on Tuesday. Aside from that, hey, we got football tomorrow. Can't wait.